They believe that say that me Nico Williams will Barcelona. No, but they also get some bonuses as a club. And Nico Williams, basketball, he's an athletic club true and true. So definitely, Abrant and Bob Bono could do a certain level. They will also get some of the applause. And then when you be become despite the fact that boy in Africa, Nico Williams, who is one of the best ever players to ever play for the club. Now, that 1:1 rule now, and the Atletico Bilbao for club for Ebisab making inquiries about La Liga for near say Barcelona and you be checking Barcelona books and say if Barcelona ever trigger Branton release clause, are they able to register the boy? And Conquest said they will sign the boy. Then Branton sign Barcelona, but Barcelona are not able to register the boy. Now the 1:1 rule no. And I said the financial fair play ruler. And La Liga, all the clubs are in the Spanish La Liga. No, they know these rules. No, a club cannot spend more than the income. No club in So if Barcelona income is 250 million euros, Barcelona salary cap no ain't member that income now almost a team like Barcelona no omunya. But then the 2 years, 3 years ago. Frankie de Jong, Barcelona they were trying as much as possible to clear some of them. And then one Laporta, any day come, they are offloading players. And they Ansu Fati, there's a video so then the papa. Omoko Monaco Akoko seal the deal to Monaco, and Monaco are ready to pay the wages for the boy. Frankie de Jong, likely so better. But then Marc-Andre ter Stegen, Ronald Araujo, likely so be stay. Coaches now say they would prefer him to stay. So any Andres Christensen Ebeko already when he can't sign goalkeeper Juan Garcia from Espanyol Edenaba. So people are saying say Basakran, how are they going to register these players? And they say that they have a plan. They will be offloading a lot of players to clear a room for Montaigne. Article for no and I said Bilbao for no whatever they message and approach among to La Liga for say La Liga for him, and they have to advise the boy too. So much as a Barcelona be registered, but as a Barca team registered born in Pempenya, they will advise the boy to stay at Atletico Bilbao. All they need is in as much as they would want the boy to extend his contract, now on stay Ember for 1 more year. No, they also want the best future for the boy. Ebe yase, they are own true and true. Will move from Bilbao, or Barcelona, you team register, and then in some time na. So they have an interest, especially of the progress of Abranta and Nico Williams. Now, you say Arsenal for they've been searching for a right winger for a very long time because Martinelli and Trossard, they believe that if they want to compete at the highest level, they have to get another player. Then at least 70%, 60% of the numbers that Bukayo Saka provided from the right side of attack. Yes, if they get some from the left side, now Omunya another striker, that's a side striker, and so it will be very good for them. Now, Arsenal for the Omania Chim say a Beriche easy. They would want to sign him, and I think that in as much as some of the players or move free Arsenal will be very hard to get quality players to replace them at that very same time. No. But in football, players come and go, and definitely you have another players who will come in with another, strength, another quality. A bit me, they amend with team whatever situation you are in. Now, a better is a Premier League tried and tested, or you're proving he's currently one of the players for the recent 3 or 4 collabs to the English national team. No, they've been getting collabs despite the fact that Obama Crystal Palace. If Oba a skill set, taking on players, creating chances and scoring, playing as the left winger, Eberechi is able to offer Arsenal everything and what they need. So I think that Arsenal moving to Eberechi is a very good. Now I clearly say Abranta Victor Goycores, Arsenal so I'm making you turn that he wants to move to either one of Manchester United and Arsenal. But Arsenal for no or more than the wages the boy is asking for. In terms of Benjamin Sesko, the Benjamin Sesko wages no enkoso, but the amount anything money at the IB Leipzig and the kind of bonuses are a woman. That is what actually deal no. But definitely Victor Gokres I make a U-turn and he's willing to make things soft for either for Man United and Arsenal so be a bono a bit be a movie. So to me, with the kind of recruitment Arsenal for no, I mean what in recent times Kofa Zinchenko buy Mama Yaya where say Zinchenko no ain't member to the highest level the Calafiori aba. In fact, in defenders, they have two good defensive defenders and right back say Tomiyasu ain't mean consistent. They have current Timber. In midfield, they are trying to get replacement for Thomas Partey. At least it's going to be very difficult for them to replace him outright. But they are trying to everything possible to just standardize on midfield and all these things. So I think that Arsenal, they have to be very busy our transfer window because for 5 years they've been getting closer and day in day out they've been improving, especially in the Champions League. First time about Champions League Arsenal or quarter finals last season. That was the second time for Arsenal. You who be Arsenal code all the way to the semi-finals. So I think that they should just get the right people, and the people number they should be able to adapt to Arsenal style, and especially in the Premier League now on Beso Mojo. Now Ochake Liverpool. People are saying say Liverpool for Akwa is Kagari, and they are signing a lot of people, and at least to the transfer window is not done for Liverpool. Reports nature say Liverpool are looking forward to sign another defensive midfielder, defensive centre back, and again they also don't want any Alexander Arnold situation. So Ibrahima Konate contract extension. One thing Michael Edwards mo. Any paying for Ariata say fine by hook or crook. They have to get the boy extend his contract. Now they need another defender to sign another defender because Jared Kwanzaa, if you call buying all for Liverpool. Now they believe that Magui now no mudine for some time. No Magui is kind of boy to the extent that they cannot sign him at that amount because if you have Ibrahima Konate and you have Virgil van Dijk, it will be very difficult to buy a player worth 60, 50 or 70 million. So they never bet on a bench. So they are looking into the market to get a player, a cheaper option. Whenever either Konate and our Virgil van Dijk he can step in and step in well. So the plan is that they need a defender from the Premier League. Now in terms of left back, right back position, they've bought Florian Wirtz. They are hoping to meet more of Rudy Abrantandi, Eddie Ayer, Nunes, Diaz, any Abrantandi, Eddie Kodigapo. Likely say one of them will also move to another club. And I think that Liverpool for transfer market, people they are not done yet. They will float players and at least get one midfielder, one defender, and also a striker. Now they are deciding say they should go in for Abrantandi, Alexander Isak. And with Ishak team, they believe that Owabe Newcastle. In fact, they are going to play the UEFA Champions League. But the only idea bit must stop Ishak. I say he will move from Newcastle to go to a team and stand at Newcastle. Once there's a club ready to offer whatever Newcastle is doing and even improve that offer, or no Branton Ishak, they are willing to move. But the thing is, it will be very difficult for Newcastle to leave the ball unless Liverpool are ready to splash another £100 million plus for Alexander Isak. So there's been a decision going on with the Finway Group and Michael Edwards and the coach, if they should go in for Abraham Alexander Isak. If they won't go in for Isak, there's a lot of strikers they also try and explore those chances.
Okay, right, into transfers and you can add to me a baby moon. Yenshua games Yenshua games you Abrante a friend Gaidu and Rami Bonidin and Ultimately say he met a tough opposition and a muya and Yenshua a games
Yes, in the game of course between Salzburg and Real Madrid, it was a crucial game for both teams, especially qualification. Next Salzburg, so person qualified their meaning say a draw against Real Madrid and also like a win would have sent them through to the next round. Real Madrid, you name him saying their first 2 games they tried the formation of a 4-3-3, but in this game they did one or two changes. Na nyama then etimi koye. I liked the way they line up. So well and made sure say performance the betimi akoye. In Tisaucha Real Madrid, they came in with a 3-5-2 formation. And when you say Xabi Alonso, your coach, and the performance, he likes to go with a 3-back, a middle of 4, and maybe a forward of 3. In a lot of variations in Real Madrid coming with a 3-4-3 or a 3-5-2 type of formation in Yama ebetimi aiden akoye. But in draw, players are more impressing me. Send me boss, no Gonzalo Gracia. One player or born home or year pan or Real Madrid setup. Vinicius Junior with an assist and a goal on also performance need to me then echo suye. Valverde, Jude Bellingham, any other Goulet. I think this season other Goulet season. So up a player ne modern ball echo in pan or Real Madrid setup. We so bet me a fit into one sport other Goulet because the performance no na anu again. And he has shown say in this Real Madrid setup obetimi a fight for a role and make sure so obetimi a team no. Coulson, Rudiger, and Chouameni as a 3-back no. Eboa ye because I was a bit surprised about Chouameni coming into as a centre back because he named himself bought as a centre back in a lot of roles. I'm a Real Madrid na amfa, but coming into that CCB position, no, he did so well. And Otimi back as a DM, Otimi drop here as a centre back. Na performance no. Etimi then akoye, but with Gonzalo Gracia, he was one player he really impressed me, and I think going forward, obetimi a lot of chances. If you're on table, ni se na say na nyama kika kono. Real Madrid in 3 games we lose. Xabi Alonso 3 games no, onya 2 wins and a draw. And in Salzburg, etimi free mo. We intimi and qualify, even though put up a good performance, but still intimi and rim. Intim, that is the round of 16 now. We'll discuss more on teams no performance. Any baby or makwa could do any kwanye betimi abom. Amo my bomb more than Pachuca. Any hard game on bone draw. I think it was a good game. Osha performance. Now Adio Muhia was just a goal to qualify. And then they got 2 goals to be able to make sure say they will get into the next round. This is a team they are playing without their top striker in Mitrovic. In 3 games ni on boy. And we were in the round of 16 in the quarterfinals, in the semi-final about the boy team. So their performance will go on to well. Round of 16 games no. But I think Real Madrid part of Menya Sisiana as a now wow. Especially meeting Juventus, and they'll meet some of the big guns to make sure say they can get into the final. In dry ball, so I say if you can be able to meet the big guns, now to me the possibility of you winning the trophy is high. The likes of Man City and Chelsea who the other side, they will also play a very big role in coming into that final. If a club World Cup, they see do business side and everything will go on so well for some of the clubs. Okay, inti share some of the round of 16 games a bit to me also. Round of 16 games a bit to me also. With Chelsea Benfica game new to be one crucial game. I think Chelsea they will look out there and they can defeat Benfica. Any name say Chelsea and Benfica in common across maybe any football terms, but transfer business is the 2 teams who are Momeshi apart. They will play that is the first game of round of 16. I some bit me about more than Palmeiras any Botafogo so a bit me share Inter Milan any Fluminense and so bit me about a crucial game. Then the Paris Saint-Germain, Inter Miami, Juventus, Real Madrid, send an Indra near boss. So one of these 2 teams would meet Real Madrid and it's a good game for both of them. Say Juventus and Real Madrid. Why they bet me about no we need a game now. Obtain the chance to meet Borussia Dortmund or Montreal, which I think these 2 teams are very solid. They can harm any of Dortmund or Montreal. Into Quambia, so one of these 2 teams will get into that is the quarterfinals or the semi-finals.
Okay, yeah, Madrid game no. Yeah. Madrid game no. Oh, say Alonso have a new team.
Yes.
I think the first 2 games wasn't too convincing. Though against Pachuca, 10 against 11,
they did,
and they were able to win. And Pachuca near standard no. If you look, what would be sure as Endra game, for instance, what does he want to do?
Okay, so
as a coach.
Osha Alonso, he is more comfortable with a 3-back system.
In general, he played 3-back. Why am I about 3-back?
In general, 3-back no was Dean Hawson, Chouanemi, and Rudiger. Inti Chouanemi no playing. He was playing as a DM, but if they are pushing forward, he goes in as a DM. No, Kujina. If they are defending, then he defends as a CCB and a centre back position. I think he tried a 4-3-3 in the first game against WFNC on the Pachuca game. Not try 4-3-3 and not do a red card and manage switch one or two things. But I think next season he would like to go with a 3-5-2 system, where in the front three they be more Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe.
That's the front three.
Yes, because we believe that with these two players, no, they can make a lot of runs. They can finish up front. Now we call within 5. That is Ubeunya Alexander-Arnold from the right, Ubeunya Frank Garcia, or maybe any other left back.
I'm not sure some metal left back. And now they will go back and buy the Benfica boy.
They will buy the Benfica boy.
Okay.
Or they will look at other left back options because Mendy, I don't know, only that pace to cover that grounds, especially with the injury records. No.
Mendy will pay so.
But make us say now with the injury records,
we will see.
Okay. And then in Finfino, Ada Goulet, Valverde, and Jude Bellingham. I think this midfield theory at the back because these are runners. These are skillful players on the ball. Osha Jude Bellingham, this formation especially arriving in the box as the third person or as the third man in the box. No, at the back or a lot of strength also. This is a team. Why not doing so best set up? There are games that we'll see maybe a 3-4-3 system where maybe Bernard Jones will be included the likes of Rodrigo and even Gonzalo Gracia. I think he's impressed with the boys so much.
Yeah.
Until going forward, will be a lot of minutes in the Real Madrid setup.
With the three defenders, because very crucial.
Yeah.
About Rebecca, the three defenders, no, crucial. Aside the wing backs, near the other, no. The 3-back for no Oman Tiomo once here. Is it that Iba Asensio no never baby Jinama and I say Eda Militao and I say who Abi or the Weber Bijinaho? Alaba.
Yes, I think Alaba between Alaba and Militao. I think Asensio in 2 games, the particular decisions will make you on the field. I don't think Jabi Alonso in the but there was a penalty, there was a red card, and now he's reckless with his decision making and in the tackles.
Okay.
And in a 3-back system, no, when your players they are more comfortable and stable, because you get a team striker, a person finding in spaces between more 3-back system. No. In TNA, he would like to go with a more calmer player because Kaiser Rudiger will be a
okay, so so what you say, Eda Militao no
yes,
come in
Militao.
now with the arrangement. You said you're very comfortable on the ball. Eddie Hudson. So obviously, so no a ball in the middle, it makes sense. Now, Rudiger, we know that he has played as a left centre back or Chelsea in the same system before, or a very comfortable. But Enrano, he played as
a
right centre back and the Hudson left centre back. I don't know. Do you want to see switch or how it is arranged?
No, say because of Alexander-Arnold role of person or the man going forward, coming into the middle and helping. Into being he'll be aggressive to be able to cover Alexander-Arnold so well. I was looking at say Bedu Baby, we can see the likes of maybe Carvajal coming in to play as a right centre back.
Okay.
Senya, if the game is moving forward, say Frank Garcia betina and Mendy never start here, they can switch and defend with a 4. Senya Alexander-Arnold didn't have a lot of pressure tracking back. In himself with Liverpool, he was having those issues tracking back and marking his man. Interne Rudiger would cover that. I think Dean Hawson will come into the middle, playing as the CCB and as the final person to make the decision because of Oshe Indra Bomboya. Chouanemi was going more as a DM, no about into the centre back role. Into Dean Hawson with the passing ability now, he can go in as a DM, distribute that balls well for him.
Okay.
No team back into that centre back role to also defend. Into the left side, and no make us say maybe Alaba with experience will let him get the nudge ahead of maybe Asensio, especially Asensio shaking 1 or 2. But in Finfino I'm looking at the likes of Camavinga coming in. Because I think so about middle of 3 and a middle of 5.
You need a stable
defender.
a stable defensive midfielder.
Yes. Uche Valverde, Jude Bellingham, Ada Gulea, they would like to go forward.
To box.
Yes. Into Ube here back more stable. Into maybe Kamavinga would come in. But yesterday, one thing I'm saying who here in the game was Vinicius Junior is not comfortable playing as that two strikers. Into anytime Real Madrid were possession, you could see that Vinicius will now drop and come and play as the left wing back. Not Frank Garcia in those half spaces.
Maybe the movement, the dynamics.
And when he say he's not, only Vinicius likes to touch the line and take his players on. Until they'll be looking at Umbeko for a left back. And anytime they will look at getting a left back who is so crucial and can add goals. Until they say Vinicius Ebeshim or occupy that space now. Obetimi occupy ni Abwa the front forward and now the front players going forward. I think
okay. So if you look at the whole Real Madrid players no, and especially almost front three, very crucial. Almost front three of Vini, Mbappe, and Rodrigo. Do you think that a three-back system maybe to me are getting the best out of it? Because all of them must adjust.
Yes.
Maybe except Mbappe, who at the back of last season has been playing through the middle. Into Onebeka, he's gained some level of experience. Now, Rodrigo and Vini must adjust. Now they have to play through the middle. I thought, say, because of the pace, the way or dynamic, he was good. He scored a goal and created another one, which is very good. Ebema were very closer to the ball, or very direct to the post. Ebema ni goals na there increasing. And at some point, when they meet teams, almost level no they can have only two midfielders and have three fronter. More men near there, right? Does it mean there was a back or turn back?
We share almost set up now. I think players from who bet Real Madrid team we especially the way they play and the way they want to set up. No? The likes of Brahim Diaz, he had a good performance last season, but we share this lineup and who bet
okay.
Unless they are going for a 4-3, like a 3-4-3, where on able 2 double tens, and those 2 double tens means it's still going to be real team. No? Because the likes of Rodrigo, Mbappe, Vinicius, I think he's setting up this way because Opeso will have more energy in the midfield to be able to relieve a lot of pressure from the likes of Vinicius and Mbappe. They are tracking back. Good. But the only thing Anami is saying, this formation would have helped Oblé friend Rodrigo. The left wing back position,
okay.
Then he goes into to join the attack. But the defensive works be more limited. Yes, he who's a coach is maybe with a 3-back system with Ruben Amorim or try be with the likes of Quendamu. But on the right side near Alexander Arnold, which on also the defensive works near low. Into he'll be one player on also person call forward. The Alexander Arnold passing range and in the strength up front. Into Ebema affect Rodrigo here. So send I say one has to go. And I think so we be called there. It's either Rodrigo would go because he who say in 3 games when you have one start, you need free move within 50-60 minutes, and in the remaining 2 games he came from the bench. Those are Alonso. I am more professional, say it's a technical decision, but I think there's a quality player who would come ahead of every academy player.
Well, I didn't watch a year game, especially first half and show you na medai. Obemu 67th minute and obey Vinicius. So obviously he is going to be the second
player for coming in
for Vini. And the Ramos guy, Garcia will be understudy to Mbappe. So if and you need a squad depth, you say you need a squad depth. So, is it? I don't know the performance. Meaning say game no. How did he fare? Because your ability to adjust to the new system, very crucial. What I say? How did he fare?
I think Obeyemu no share between any Brahim Diaz and boss. Now their performance wasn't there for me. I didn't make us and they say they weren't adjusting to coming in and playing as strikers, but they always wanted to. Once Brahim Diaz should be on episode drop a veggie ball and you could see say Alonso, especially there was one ball Brahim Diaz and he wasn't happy about it because no drop it too much. And Utimu I don't know if there is too much pressure on Rodrigo, but on a clear chance to be able to move forward and score, also miss football no my ball no fan. So this is something maybe because a new coach, a new system, they are trying to adjust.
Okay, we'll give it time.
Okay, they'll be able to adjust because one thing about footballers, they say if you are willing to play, you are willing to adjust to any formation. Who the likes of Victor Moses turning from strikers to right back to be able to get into the setup. Instead of Bedu baby, if he needs him to play from the left wing position, now Obetimi adjust here. He would like to be in the squad and to play so well. So I think in draw formation setup but from the early stages, Nana Musa they were all over the place. Bedu baby, they got into the system in Yamatimi Koye now.
All right.
Listo. I think all the Real Madrid fans and almost share a game in the piano. They should be happy because the virus money, other people they should be happy. It's a virus beating me day.
Against Salzburg. Salzburg.
No, but then there is also a football team.
Okay.
A process. And a pattern. And a system.
Okay.
So the moment our coach in the boss system now, obe improvements and you once a place to be one identity. There be another Thomas Tuchel, the example. There's nowhere coach be able team piano. Ubenya all the basis and now all from face. Ubenya right. When Thomas Tuchel came, on your defense, no okay, but near team should go. Bear 5 games. Chelsea should go 1. But the moment the defense never be solid way no. Owns right now Rudiger, Thiago Silva, Christensen, Omonya hack, hacky way never. So he has to work on Mason Mount. Any the players no. The virus day on for among Ahila and to Sumami. That was the first gamer or boy as Real Madrid coach. And least over Kaya when Alonso started Nejumanema Real Madrid. People say when a Madrid they traditional 4-4-3, 4-3-3 and a 4-4-2 team. And Alonso can say the fact say or used to 3 back or Bayern Leverkusen doesn't mean it will work at Real Madrid. So a lot of us and Madrid fans will say Alonso he might not set up as the 3-back system because of the defenders now. Real Madrid is because Alaba pra, Eder Militao pra, Carvajal. Apart from the heart issues or recovering, he hasn't been consistent because of injuries.
Honestly,
and Rudiger, Babeba club but cannot Rudiger either. Epra. So now because only 2 center backs and Real Madrid war. So it's going to be very difficult for Real Madrid to play that 3-back system. It's a virus remember you form me. Watch the first game Obo Asensio anything Hodgson, who is a new center back now Obo Trent Alexander-Arnold and Obo Garcia, because don't forget say Ferland Mendy so a hamstring injury. Then Endrick into checking Madrid injury list now only 2 players and now more players are more defenders. Endrick and Abraham and Kylian Mbappe because of the illness and he was starting a year training. Now, Obo for system always Chouameni stay close to the 2 center backs in terms of Abraham and Eric Asensio and Abraham and Hodgson. But in the space of the game, whenever Asensio gets closer to Abraham and Eddie Hodgson Biano, Trent Alexander-Arnold vertical Fifa. But it was still limiting them because always be Madrid players, Vinicius and Rodrigo, they are wide from Abraham and Garcia. So always Garcia was always in between another center back and 2 center backs. And Bellingham, so whenever Chouameni become, you need someone get that as a transitioner between the defenders and the attack. And this is Bellingham who's also very good in front of goal. So that game, although they didn't lose that game, but when we say how he wants the boys to play and how our opponents be press, so which my clear more film enya 1v1 situations because Uba we are saying we checking Madrid players in terms of Kylian Mbappe, Vinicius, these 2 players, arguably Uba we are saying players in terms of 1v1 situations, or me very good won't be more 4 or 5 players are we involving Vinicius Junior and Kylian Mbappe in that situation. So our weapon. So all he has to do is he has to work as much as possible for the defenders and midfielders to be able anytime they are born to do the attacking phase it should be say Kylian Mbappe ever be taking on the opponent and now say Oba baby bisa. Now virus of first second no game how I was set up into yesterday in the game who checking the team sheet now or the man in some trade for the Europa now or call in as the 4-back system But in the game, almost at the end, I was a Trameni. I drop out can defenders right now. I'm about a typical I'm about a typical 3-back system. And you see, you look at their 3-back system. It was quite unfortunate. Say, you said Dean Hudson, a player in terms of controlling the ball. At least, ideally, if Real Madrid for air starts a 3-back system, and Dean Hudson made a better match. But now you ask, where are the numbers in defense? Where are the centre backs? Coach, bet him that was that 3-back system. So in fact, Tchouaméni is a defensive midfielder. So he has that ability, that attribute to play as a centre back and a CBB in front of a other right wing centre back and a right wing back and a right left wing back players no centre back players no. So Tchouaméni ejro menfree. The Hudson always talking about Obo 4-back system biado. Obo from the left side, so he's comfortable there. Rudiger before about Chelsea was AS Roma. Now Obo as a right back and anytime now a right centre back. But he's comfortable playing from the left, so it was good for them because Omo Messi Asensio, Omo Messi a lot of defenders. And you see, Tchouaméni last season a boss several as a defender. But now you look at Real Madrid team now. Last season, me can several times say Madrid were very good attack. Omo team is very good, but I do akwa. Edi Madrid nya ye pa. How Real Madrid for Omo concede goals. Last season Madrid non defense enya dia or tie concede goals so much. So looking at the Real Madrid team, anyhow Omo set up Omo team no, it was so clear say they needed that defensive stability. That was Adiba Akwa last season. Barca for DBT Omo. In as much as Barca for no, Omebo Genomelu, so it means that team B team find an antidote to beat Omo press no. Anyhow, I'm set up on team. But to stop Madrid from scoring, last season, you can never stop Madrid from scoring at least 2 goals. But no more than you say how they can defend or who goes no motion. Because defensive stability, because the more defenders they were not fit. So always last season, Asensio, any Rudiger, and even Tchouaméni about several times. Now, check how Madrid set up now. And where how when they are out of possession, or defensive virus manning if they are out of possession, how more defend? And you see, apart from the 3-back system and 4-back system, there are other players or my clear say where they are going to play this season might be totally different from where they've been playing. Obi just say Adagula. You'll be seeing him as more of a number 8 this season. Because of how about Adagula and the number of passes and chances what me create here. Now, this is Salzburg in the game, and in fact,
Salzburg in white.
In white. Yeah. Listo. Or they check it. Now, statistics of the game, no full match. No. Ube say Madrid didn't outplay Salzburg. In fact, this is an academy team. They are also a team who bought that total football, so you can play them. But won't me outplay in terms of passes, in terms of chances, possession. Madrid are 55 and almost 45. Number of shots, almost about 12. So Madrid were ahead of Salzburg because they had the experience, they have the quality players. Team getting the job done. In the North game, now I was able to watch just the first half. Second half, my team reading none things that me die. But my share the highlights of the second half. But game now, Madrid for undominated fully. Now this is Real Madrid defending or who defend of that flat 5, which means Garcia and the Trent are back to the base with them. And then Garcia, Abranta and Bellingham, and Vinicius, and the front three. Then at the base, that is the 2 midfielders that are control the game. Or Abranta and Adagula and Federico Valverde. These are the players who control game. So on the midfield, or one player who is a creative midfielder, that is Obiba Modric. Then you have Valverde. Or no, Alonso like I say, who Valverde like Abranta and Steven Gerrard. On any given time, with him the ball running, he can shoot, he can pass to every length of the field. So this is how they also defend. Okay. Now into the game, and Ra was one of the games that Abranta and the Thibaut Courtois ball more long balls, and no about 5 long balls. Emu 3 was successful, and no ball. The pass accuracy was 91%. That is the highest pass rate. Thibaut Courtois, and so it means that they will also be starting from the back. Now, if this Real Madrid team now, and the coach and the Campbell Brahim Diaz Abaso so very technical, but clear say Obebo a 5-2-3 formation. Now, who check how was set up? I think that there was another picture, first picture now, person ka could you find to some for mommy. Always be an opposite ni fullbacks, the right fullback and the left fullback, and occupy the wide space. And this season, Pep Guardiola yes I didn't. So what we are trying to one. Ideally, if Nkeye and Carlo Ancelotti and where Frank Garcia one, that is where Nkeye who Vinicius Junior or just some people born to that space. But now, opposite ni Trent any Garcia mo, they should occupy that space. Now, listen. If we are Salzburg and any team playing against Real Madrid, always why do you call Garcia? So because you didn't saw a fullback. Trent, why do you say why do you call the players the double number 10s, which is either Jude Bellingham, Vinicius Junior, and Kylian Mbappe. So on the ball number called, but anytime ball number drop it out to that space in front of Garcia and Trent Alexander-Arnold. If these players are productive enough, they can score or they can assist. So that is why check here. The 2 seasons are time and now Liverpool for edge the Bundesliga no. Unless Grimaldo, any Branton, Eddie Jermaine Frimpong. Now what the most goals and assists with team because Florian Wirtz, Victor Boniface, any half for man Patrick Schickma or more any more attention come any loose balls behind these players can score from any angle and no make me answer create chances in their mom. Now am I clear say Chouameni be an integral part of my team. It's either say Chouameni any man and as a centre back. He will play with that 2 pivotal role with Abraham and Eddie Valverde and any game management about so much that always say Abraham and Eddie Jude Bellingham. Almost after the FIFA Club World Cup, but shoulder injury. So he will miss the start of the season. So that double number 10 role now, between that 2 top now mostly either say sometimes or about one ABI say or best starting Mbappe or best starting Mbappe he will start 2 number 10s, that is Vinicius Junior and Bellingham and I say Brahim Diaz, or even he can play Abraham and the other Goulet at that position. Situation whereby Bellingham is not going to start the season, he still have Rodrigo even in that space. So with him he or squad depth no. All he has to say the defenders no more bench no, they will come back. Right now we're in the system. The players are identical. No, who share the goals from from Vinicius Junior go share, Garcia go share now. Direct. Omo bobo na, omo bomb fan wings so. Omo the far wings, omo the ball in field, then they will attack you directly. The moment omo attack you directly, that is when they will take the ball to the wings. Omo team say no. Real Madrid for list to omo ball ni. Ada Goulet. There are 2 games obo has done number 8. On never bench ball never be control because they don't have Camavinga in. They don't have Chouameni in the midfield. And Valverde a very fine midfielder, but on team that controller in the game. So he had Abraham and the other Gula doing that work. And they Brahim Diaz was a technical player. And when he can say any player bit is Rodrigo, and who say that 2 spots and that 3 spots now anymore. Sometimes a player who beats me drop it deep because mostly if they are attacking and answer with their in possession, he expects one of the double now attempts to drop to the midfield.
Of course, no.
Yes. Now I can't either Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe or up front. So if Rodrigo is not able to do that, that is where Obe relied on Bellingham so much. That is where he will rely on Abraham and Eddie Ibrahim. That's so much, and that is where he also need other Gula. And then Ada Gula will say, "Oh man, but typical left wing one. He or no say other Gula or that 10 either or about that 2 pivotal midfielders, no, and I say or the front 3 hole. Abmanabo as one of the double number 10s. Zeneno, who checking the squad depth now? Situation whereby Adam Militao, little if on your feet or your world beater. Obe starting
into a banner train.
Yes.
Man never born.
Yes. You still have your Rudiger, you still have your Adam Militao, you still have your Dean Horson. Then you bring Abraham and Chouameni. You see, and yesterday a lot of people were happy with the way Abraham the early 2000s, 1999, 2000 Champions League Madrid, that was under Vicente Del Bosque. And since Del Bosque was a 3-back system, no Madrid coach been about 3-back system.
Okay.
And those Madrid fans are no go pick at that time. They are happy because the last time Madrid appointed Xabi Alonso, and the catch was Xabi Alonso as a coach and as a player, he was one of the best midfielders to ever come in a generation. And Obo under some of the most exciting coaches and arguably one of the best coaches in the world. Obanda Vicente Del Bosque was Spain national team. Obanda Jose Mourinho, who's also a defensive-oriented coach, and was also under a coach needed Pep Guardiola, who's also attacking and possessive. So, in the football career, and was and he's also a Spanish player and a Spanish coach as of now.
And he's been a
successful coach as well. Wakakoji at the Bundesliga. And they list to the last time Madrid ball that 3-back system. Mimadi Kanka say Aurelian Tchouameni and no I said when you watch the game now. There were several times any cool break where he's talking about only Tchouameni Kasa.
Yeah, because
and that 3-back system, the person who sits in front of the defenders is very key.
Yeah.
In that time in Madrid J 2000 Madrid J the UEFA Champions League. Redondo.
Yeah.
Energy the UEFA best player.
He was playing.
He was the DM. So there's a reason why I'm mad for him business. Oh, Casemiro Ababaye, but them hardcore Madrid fans if they say, "Why Redondo be bomb in that short period?" And Casemiro Ababaye repeat, but they still respect Redondo because at that time, Vicente Del Bosque once started 3-back from Madrid at that time, or started the 3-back mid-season.
Yeah.
Because at that time, Madrid early key goals. That was Ivan Campo, Karanka Moni Hegera, and that was when Michel Salgado.
Yeah.
Oma that overlapping. Internet some Michel Salgado be overlapping. And Oma Roberto Carlos ebo as a left wing back and Michel Salgado. So at that time, then defenders, they were average defenders. And they start defenders Ivan Campo, Karanka Hegera. They are not defenders. I know defenders are. They are not part of these defenders. They were average defenders, and in fact, some of them were not a Madrid type of defenders. But because Oba, he didn't have the materials to defend very well. Madrid were shipping in goals, and scored 3-back. And Omar Redondo, to free Michel Salgado and Roberto Carlos, and then they have Madrid for more Carlos. Maybe Garcia is not up to the Carlos yet, but they also have a right-footed Carlos. He can score, he can play, he can create from anywhere. So with Madrid team, especially Trent Alexander-Arnold, were arriving at the right time, and at the right time, I was appointing a coach to unlock Trent Alexander-Arnold, the potentials, especially in attack. Whenever he was playing at Real Madrid, for Liverpool, or attacking, are very good. But always behind, people were criticizing him because of defense. But now with the 3-back system, a bit more stabilizing,
bringing the best
out of him defensively. Arnold Maka. But then, if they are not with the ball, all he has to do is say he has to be tactical enough to play with the squad Madrid war. If Omu defenders in Haba, listen to the left center back position. If Alaba is fit, and if Enyesebia, say Alonso build the team and send a flick air for the next 5 years. Omega so we should sideline Alaba, near the young boys in bar. They can play Rudiger and Asensio crowd. And even Ferland Mendy, that left center back position, he can play and play well because defensively he's very good. So they have the numbers. That is, if injuries, players no more injuries. Cavaya, if Cavaya is fit, that's a Rudiger. And that right center back position.
Yeah, even the wing back role, you cannot play 90 minutes.
Yeah.
To watch all the coaches no more bought back. Almost substitution almost taking the wing backs off because you need to go then come back, and you are very tactical to the extent say, then you need to even arrive in the box. First, you say right back there, cross here. But now you have to arrive in the box and ensure that you fall back. No about boa
You see,
different. So mostly no substitution.
Xabi Alonso are mostly the fullbacks. They don't normally go into the box. They normally do overlapping and underlapping, which is either say or the ball never call or be overlapping. They are called the side. No,
that is why they score goals.
And I say
that is why they score.
The wing backs there, Omumbo as maybe wing backs, Omumbo as maybe left and right midfielders.
Yeah.
They arrive.
In terms of underlapping, the ball do side that moment. Vinicius everybody that side. That was when either Garcia or Trent Alexander-Arnold ebe underlap ko mfimfin. So omomo then always watch a year. Most of the games. No, Edu baby no on time ball Frimpong as a right wing back. Obon kind of front three with Vit Boniface. And no Frimpong. Then our boy is in Mukilo, another right wing back.
I know last season. Yes,
but
Oji League
that was standard.
You see, that was the standard. And one thing is, on this coaching, what they've learned is that you need to always have an extra man up front. So no matter how you set up, I was also setting up to the extent that you will get an extra man.
Yeah.
But on only the maybe a Pep Guardiola mono, sometimes they might get an extra man in the middle. They might get extra man at the weight. So they depending on where the ball is. But on only the end of mostly no. And wing backs, no.
And
it creates an extra man. So it's either the right back who create the extra man or the left back. So if you look at what is on the screen, you can clearly see that there is a player closer to the right back than the left back. So the left back, left wing, no, and the extra man because now there is a union Kesema, Vinicius, no, where he is standing, no, Kesema, where Vinicius is standing, no. The player now, player no, he will be confused because you have to tackle the one. I don't know where then. A dangerous position, and that is Vinicius. You need to go and tackle Vinicius. Then why good day no be check the player no so here then urban because what the player no urban position. They are coming to create overload.
Yes.
Eddie among defenders no. Into who a defender automatically will be closely that particular space, making a Frank Garcia the free man. So always be no free man, and now no say boy baby do Frank Garcia. The free man will be Trent because you number shifted the about. Then the Arnold will appear the fast food. So mostly when I watch Leverkusen, we say we never Grimaldo not cross a par.
Yeah. He's
a very good crosser of the ball. And all the time we are not the last man. And I said almost free man no from phone. To no arrive at the back post. No I then wash almost possess so almost possessing such that or no bad there obviously Alexander Arnold a very good scoring goal so what I say so he might try and get
one thing me who about this Xabi Alonso team especially he's playing according to the strength of the attackers obi to say Vinicius Junior because Vinicius Junior okay say always be an over cross the ball now Vinicius untimi nya so unim eno am game always omo de oba the wing back position no mu be park no bar then they will send the ball back to the midfield then quick pass
true pass
because they rely on Mbappe and Vinicius almost speed if Vienna they play the true ball for Garcia go no share he was in between two center backs or control first touch when the ball went to the defender and the defender also any touch in a ball then all the way he went to score.
Okay.
And there's one thing I hear clear, especially about Pep Guardiola. How are this season? Pep Guardiola has set up and no game.
Okay,
how are this season? And especially Enra, but this is the first time I know Alonso bought the 3-back system. And how about attacking? I am more or less like how this season Pep Guardiola, because there's one thing I like about Pep Guardiola and say mostly he's creative.
Yeah.
And he plays according to the materials are war. If he doesn't have certain materials, when he have Joao Cancelo, you want to make Cancelo effective. When I Kyle Walker, but they do maybe no new mono. Now about be invention. Oh, we are right back. We are be shame fin. Then you still have his 5 men. But then virus of Manchester City, they are not to sumami. And then they or set up because he have Rodri, he has grinders. Or another player bet me stepping in or best control board. And or another 2 midfielders they can run with the ball. Almost sounds so good on the ball. And then they what about a wing back, a left wing back obet me hold you waiting so much that I know he's now on game on boy only making the most attempted dribbles or pitching so. And he's a naturally gifted left-footed player. And on say, more left-footed. A bunch of naturally they are good dribblers. So listen, why this is a game no. Several from minute 5 to the first half. See an building up. When they are building up, 2 center or more wing backs, and that is on board a 3-back system. But the right back and the left back, no, they go high. No more holding weight for either Doku and I say Mamouche or Savio or whoever playing at the left. They also inside. Abeka Haaland. So this season we might see Manchester City doing how almost set up on attack will be very different because they don't have Kevin.
Yes, I said with the kind of players now,
yes.
They are going to come up with a different system.
Yeah.
And once Pep Guardiola or both different systems, systems
according to the players.
Yes, and when I mommy who's there, what has become of three defenders now? Only or both 3 defenders. No, ama defender ba away. Now no, he's going to isolate Rodri.
Yeah.
Then have 2 number 8.
Yeah.
At the same time, have wingers no,
as double number 10s.
Double number 10s. Then the fullbacks. Though Obenum goes there, but this one will also bring a lot of goals.
And you see, this one will stability.
The thing
from Rodri, because of Rodri, what that experience, no. Into do say senior case the wing backs to go, no. Rodri ni center backs ni big Gina as a 3 back. Onim the energy of Rodri, or if Rodri is fully fit, obetimi ama defensive energy, obetimi
because this is 2 number 8 no so yes, energy.
This is
2 number 10
especially Randers no. I don't know what the thing is always when they are starting.
Now another midfielder no Hona.
Bernardo Silva.
Okay. Also energy. Okay.
So Akwa said this season Anksan food in tea at. And you see all start here Edison Obianim say currently we manono ya sheda in here but who pe goalkeepers are we very good on the ball. Arguably all in the world. So all start here or Edison because Rodri na ADM no Rodri is Ekwa Jibo and free Edison. So always be an all start here or 3 players that they can play. And you so be press you press them then ubeja the fullbacks no ha. Edison can play the ball quick.
Yeah, they are too much.
Either or the too much or the man double number 10s no. I'm a mark of game.
And I say share the
so who is playing the one a ball right back?
And no ball and I'm come back. Say that is whereby Nunez overlap here. Ball drew attacking tether. Nunez near my friends. Obe and Lapia but 50 become my friend. That is when either Randers and I say Branton in the end Bernardo Silva. Omu are joining attack until he Nunes no
until
yes
Rodri. Okay.
So that is it depends on how Ombe attacking. There will be variations.
Any Enzo Maresca the difference
yes.
Wait because is it not Caicedo role no dey ama Nunes no.
Yes. No on say okay. No say on say almost set up no. No I'd say no. We mu no omumbo high press. So no adoye and say
no on the ball. I think the press
is there. On the ball.
How is it different from?
Still high.
No
high.
Yes, still no high with the virus man can mention there. We should be Nurida.
Build up name. With this build up no. And or the Rodri a decoy. Action or number 10.
Yeah.
Then the ball will go straight to either Bernardo Silva or Nunes because him say Randers Bandra Adibakwa who about the setup and they say Doku so enjoy it so well. After the game
Doku Mumbe the free man, the extra man.
Because after the game there was a post by a Man City fan be car say Doku runs or in training Pep Guardiola catch and had and say he shouldn't be touching the line, should run in between. No, Tete Muguni. So yesterday he did a lot of running in between.
I was about to talk about the left backs no. So more wider. On say make if they are holding the ball, this is almost half. Almost half. Still I know any Nunes no. Almost
okay.
But do attacking 10 now. And no as I know and Lapia. He was in front of the arc. But no Jibo no opia pass no. Emma Doku running far to so Doku mom echo wide and ball pass for defender Doku a real defender no koshe goal.
And so Pep Guardiola nani enimna can left back will never do overlapping and underlapping.
Yes.
This time they are doing
because
it
of the quality and the attributes of
no, it's because of say the system has been found out.
No, and you found out.
Of course, last season
the system found out.
And always
now when you quality player, he could give him that overlapping and underlapping.
Oh yeah, because he's working on I know because right side honor or work if right side honor. Or no Nunes no and Lapia because or central defender anything. Or Enra or Mugo na Haaland share. They had a ball. And now friend is saying player needing Rodri. I stay close to the defender. So there were not space in so Haaland making moves say over. So Haaland making moves over now Sansu defender. That was when Rodri, who was isolated, no. Everyone come was so when Rodri nya ball na quick pass to so I don't know in as much as about tiki taka Sansu ball total football that when omo anymore na they almost run because I know you are underlap and you Sansu overlapping depending on how the opponent set up. It's the opponent in air ball 5 backer. There's no way overlapping. Overlapping because that is when Obe making sure say the right wing back and the left back, you know, holding weight so high, you know, will come inside to create space for Haaland any defender. No, or something run check it. That double number 10 run around the bob ebony.
Also no be one.
Check it be one of the because I mean check it the right player. But check it by and where he was playing as one of the central midfielders now omuko anymore.
Baby I do kumu change now.
No, baby, Brand Snake, Bernardo Silva.
Okay.
So what I say, and Ubo star position naturally Ubo has done number 10. Until baby Doku no, mostly that is where you will see Omama Mush. Savio Ebabo at that side, and there will be rotations.
Okay.
There will be rotations, especially according to Game Tenra. Doku any or who say right now, so I know one. A bit of a game, no. Onya bimbo bim. Ntenra or you know to the extent say where he play no or ball.
Check Ibeyi and Noriba, it was for Bernardo Silva instead. Or should I who's a coach is here maybe obey center back, not the center back, nay left back. Now that's the same way.
Yeah, so where he came to play no
Bernardo Silva
ball, baby na so me I think that this season you might also see another but how set it up on what attack.
They considered 2.
And you're more likely to say Zabi Alonso there.
And the conceding of 2 goals was mostly himself with this formation there are spaces.
Yeah, of course.
Into the conceding was their center backs no two no knowing say why Nigerian striker and change any the Rodri Ejuma no so no drop people for that center back into Vlahovic go now they were just standing no be him there so mark Vlahovic which created that space and now share the pass I yelled this minor that was like a pass out of nowhere.
Okay.
Because ball ni kofa referee ni mpo nchen no be ampo ni so be boss ball.
So this system the issue is if you lose the ball you are conceding.
Yes, you are conceding.
Because all your players are out of position.
Yes. And now no Oshe goals are Man City Asha. I think they've scored more than 12 goals in the group 11 goals. But I clear say in attack wise they are very good.
No. This is a new system. From almost 2 games
no 2 games or boy.
Since I know Ribai,
okay,
they are relying on America. No Ribai, no, he is playing according to the strength of the players, and especially Tijani ran this morning. Bernardo Silva, how they.
But there are a lot of players at system never how senior Vincent Ball.
Oh yeah,
of folding because now no.
You see folding. Folding. That double number 10. Folding. But the thing is, are you going to perform better? Are you going to
tracking back and all
do better like how Savio? That is thing, but me I think that Foden he was because that double number this who say Charlie if this is how Man City is going to play Foden can still get that 19 goals because that behind you answer Foden mostly either some born as a wing and I said that number 10 and whenever Foden you closer to the box or dangerous because you're direct until Savio if he's not productive the little chance of Foden Benya as that double number 10s behind Erling Haaland Foden that chance, no taking the chances. And see,
okay.
And no, Doku was giving Pep Guardiola another headache that Dokuba City, he was playing from the right. That even if you play Mama Mush, I can still occupy the right side and do whatever you want me to do.
Okay, all right. I think so, yeah, exhausted time now. I'm sure games can cry a war and in fact, I'm a for only games. Okay.
Say weekend games
weekend games in America.
Yeah, at least 9% can share the FIFA Club World Cup in Kakra. On say we were hoping say Katrino be complete. In the virus in fact training to Sumami. Ejumane the heading say you will fike sim ho. Yeah, black market and the Telegram
discussion.
Yeah, the better one na say amount for because FIFA Club World Cup na on say this month I'm gonna say FIFA Club World Cup month, so we are doing everything possible for them to enjoy the soccer fiesta across America. Now, I hear clear saying virus can be to mama na ya nanka ye hu training na yes. O check it and two teams here, teams on my qualifier. Now I got 2 slots. And then we were contemplating and say, why never call the left side? And then why not about the right side? And definitely, yeah, can say City a year Juventus. Definitely one of them will still play against Real Madrid because Madrid like is over topic group now. And Madrid topic group now, Obabe called the right side of the tree. Then whoever will top the group against City and Juventus, who were all having the same points. Our game was going to be a decider for wine and about Belly the table no I call the left side no watch Manchester City. And it was clear that what about the left side no Ubenya a very opponent on Shadanya tough to say Real Madrid. And then no City for try as much as possible to ignore Real Madrid. Now yes. And it's the Ushe group, Ushe table now. A idea, especially every tournament be my exciting feature be there was some history, there was some narrative video. The narrative free the right side by Newcastle, Inter Miami, any PSG, Messi meeting a former club. Now we have Flamingo, any Bayern Munich, Dortmund, any more that is Montreal, and any Juventus, any Real Madrid beam. Now on the right side, Palmeiras and Botafogo Bebo. These are 2 Brazilian clubs, and they have to make sure say and Inter Miami for no. There's people are not talking about them. Me the FIFA Club World Cup like this. They are players anything. I think that you saw about Mabaso. When FIFA included Inter Miami, that is 1 slot from the host nation. Our demand Inter Miami people were added Inter Miami because FIFA wants Messi to play the FIFA Club World Cup. But they are the only American team. Our team do the round of 16. Now, Palmeiras, regardless of the pressure, I call Estavio Williams. First 2 games on the man of the match. In fact, in the last game against Inter Miami, he played so much. Bobo despite the fact that when team the man of the match because of Luis Suarez, any assist in that game. So, Palmeiras, any Botafogo. If Obo Bono, 18 man team Ebobonia now he's coming to meet the team after the FIFA Club World Cup.
If only Chelsea will beat Benfica.
Yes, and that is Benfica Chelsea game so. After that controversial winter transfer from Enzo Fernandez to Chelsea.
The first time
I say in the first time was Benfica. And in fact, Benfica fans us. I'm Chelsea a very good history. Player be a Benfica at the Chelsea be player better good. Ramirez, David Luiz, Matic, and I can another player back. Raul Morales.
Yes.
Liverpool and San Raul Morales.
So I think we have 4
players. Yes, 4 players and then they with some so Enzo Fernandez. And then over check here Fluminense any Inter Milan so Ebebo another crucial game and a Juventus Man City and it's when they Al Hilal. In this game to me Botafogo for they are doing very well, especially Omar Branton and Igor Jesus. He's a player that any Brazil for him believe said they've gotten the real number 9 over several years. I know Messi Fred and Ronaldo Dalima Mono. I'm being another number 9 and this boy from Botafogo or Spain or Brazil or Koyuwe Yakodisca and they coach no scouting in Krabi Nassan Babaka and they not time for his foreign navy. He's coming to show the world what he's made of. Chelsea Benfica. It should be a game that I think that Chelsea for the underrated Benfica team, no. But it's a game I'm expecting Chelsea to qualify or to beat Benfica because they have the quality. Fluminense, any Inter Milan, they have a very good team. Fluminense for in terms of experience, in terms of young squad and talented players in the setup. They have a very good players. But then I think I'm not expecting Fluminense to qualify though. I'm expecting Inter Milan to qualify. Then Man City and Al Hilal. It should be a game that City for Man City for beating off and a very simple like how they played against Cancelo. Yes, it's former team. Yeah. So I think that is going to be an interesting game. So PSG Inter Miami. I'm expecting PSG. Bayern Munich Flamingo is going to be an exciting game. I'm expecting PSG Dortmund Montreal. I expect Dortmund to go. Or they cannot underrate Montreal for no. And Juventus Real Madrid. I expect Real Madrid to go. And they Madrid players and say I feel no more about tournament. So wherever we are heading to know, we are going to see exciting games, and I mean I expect some of the two European teams to be at the final.
All right, me will Oscar Crow from a T4 Oko Ireland Bohemians Dublin FC only Sligo Rovers enable Bohemians home win ɛna Shamrock Rovers ɛne Waterford. Shamrock Rovers home win. ɛna Cork City ɛne St Patrick Athletic FC ɛna ɛbɔ. St Patrick for no win or draw. ɛna okɔ ɛyɛ Latvia FK Uda ɛne Riga FC ɛbɔ. Raider FC away win. ɛna okɔ Estonia Lavedia Tallinn ɛne JK Navatrans home win. Yes, so kakra me so me de ma ahwefo no enso no. Say
yes, inti me ahwefo na be join the Telegram group. No join here weekend we be round of 16 selections. At the tour any you be bet build and so options I bet me the amount weekend we there. So one join the Telegram na skabe fan hu ye papa nti join it. Na send ya won so no kwan bia so no live games in so be course so I be more update and the games is what into with update on live games any send ya game na call option adwin say betimi abon you betimi ni na ma say na FIFA Club World Cup we unso betimi afisika MYBET.AFRICA bakai betimi am be join na be fisika na ni na registration into co platform no so ye pin link no na unso register na unso be kan busua no say na share code ni pe odon sa boss wa na we wem na de kakra to echi no afisika MYBET.AFRICA.
Right, iti nyame adoma ye besa ehia nti yakramu nicely.